Okay, what's the problem, ma'am?
My baby fell in a koi pond.
He fell in a pond?
Yes.
Okay.
He's blue.
He's blue in color?
Yes.
How old is the child?
She's 16 months.
16 months? Ma'am, I can help you with CPR.
Come on. Please, don't die.
Pediatric calls are probably the scariest calls we go on because most of us are parents. We know how scary things are when things go wrong.
The most challenging call I ever had in terms of pediatrics was a pediatric arrest. It was a very dynamic, very emotional scene. The mom was screaming. The dad was there trying to encourage the baby to survive. We had to start an umbilical line, intubate the patient, and do what we could.
We're not only dealing with the patient, but we certainly are dealing with the family as well.
I think paramedic training is really the key to staying calm in pediatric calls. You know the medicine, you know what you need to do. It's just a matter of going to work, focusing on what needs to happen at that time.
Emergency, how can I help you?
County here. Trying to transfer over a gentleman that needs medical help, 65-year-old male. He's had open heart surgery and he's at a risk for stroke. It's not making a lot of sense. Let me see if I can get him online here.
Okay.
Hello.
Are you the one who needs medical help?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Where are you in the house right now?
I'm trying to sit at the the
The TV?
Yeah.
I've alerted my medic crew. I'm going to stay on the phone with you until they're by your side, okay?
Stroke is one of those calls that the teamwork between the firefighters, paramedics, and the hospital themselves is key.
Statistics are that 1 in 20 people will suffer stroke. King County has been very resourceful in using paramedics to triage and move these people to the correct stroke centers within a timely manner.
We've trained really well with the firefighters to arrive on scene, know that we've got to go fast. If we are all communicating really well and we all move fast, then we can have a really good outcome for those patients.
I was seeing my younger daughter Marissa's new house she had just moved into. The phone rang, and it was Lawren's fiance. He said, "Something's happened to Lawren. You need to come to Harborview right away." That was all the information we had.
11:44 hours. Medic response.
Our dispatch was giving us a little bit of information as we were driving towards Amazon. It said 30-year-old female, decreased LOC, trouble breathing. And there was already an aid car on scene.
And when we came into the room, we found that Lawren was on the ground. She was turning blue. She wasn't breathing well. She was just kind of doing these short, gasping breaths. She had a boot on her foot. My partner and I were immediately like, she's having a pulmonary embolism, which is a blood clot in the lungs.
We knew this wasn't a patient that we could take back to the rig. This was someone we had to do stuff right here, right now.
Immediately, I see people like pulling out crazy looking machines, paramedics calling vital signs to each other.
And we saw her heart rate get slower and slower on the monitor until it dropped down and she didn't have a heart rate anymore.
And at that point, they made the call to perform CPR.
It went from a patient where just an aid call showed up and 10 minutes later we're doing CPR, but also it made me think, this is somebody we can save, but we need to work fast and we need to work together. We put her on our gurney and started moving towards the hospital. We lost pulses at least 3 times on the way to the hospital.
When I first arrived, the attending physician walked me to where Lawren was, and I saw a group of 10, 15 folks huddled around her. It was pretty intense.
She looked lifeless. She was very pale.
She had so many tubes and machines hooked up to her. It was just awful to see someone that you love barely hanging on.
And the doctors came and talked to us and told us what had happened, that Lawren had had a cardiac arrest. She had a massive pulmonary emboli and said that Lawren had less than a 10% chance to live.
It's impossible to contemplate losing your oldest daughter.
I I thought at that moment, I'm going to have to say goodbye to my baby. And my family isn't going to be 6 anymore. We're going to be 5.
When we leave the patient at the hospital, you never really know what's going to happen. And it's hard sometimes to say, you know what, we did everything we could, but we don't know if it was enough.
It's been proven that through good CPR, through solid training and medication interventions, that you can revive a patient. Part of that is a tenacity to not give up, to believe that what you're doing is going to help, and that this patient might survive because you kept trying.
We spend months training specifically on cardiac arrest, and it's ingrained in us from early on in our training what we need to do in that moment, and it allows us that when things are the worst possible, we're able to kick into action, and it's instinctual at that point.
I can't begin to tell you how many times in the hospital we were told that good CPR saved Lawren's life. And she has no deficits at all, not her brain, not her vital organs, nothing. And that's a miracle. And that's because of Medic One.
It's because of our training that we can go out there and actually make a difference on a day-to-day basis. And we're provided this opportunity through the Medic One Foundation.
I think people should support Medic One Foundation because I never thought I would have that bad day where one of my children or somebody I love dearly would need that kind of help. No one thinks the bad things are going to happen to them. But then when it does, who do you want showing up? Do you want that highly trained person who is going to save your loved one's life? Of course you do. Everyone does.
The Medic One Foundation is keeping the torch lit for generations to come and ensuring that the community is well served.
I get so much reward from what I do that I truly feel good when I go home after shift that I've made a difference in someone's life.
I had no idea at how lucky she was to be in their hands.
The reason Lauren's alive today is because of the training and the paramedics that attended that day. She needed to be resuscitated 3-4 times. They saved her life.
I truly believe that the training I received through the paramedic training program, supported by the Medic One Foundation, allowed us to save Lawren's life.
It's hard to wrap your head around that feeling of, should I really be here? One of the things that they're trained to do is not give up on you, and I'm a really good example of that.
I don't think words can describe how thankful I am for the paramedics, firefighters, Medic One Foundation. I can't say enough. I'm going to be thankful for the rest of my life.
I want to let the firefighters and paramedics know how grateful that I am to them for choosing to go out there and be in the communities every day, saving lives. I would not be here, obviously, without them. So, thank you to the Medic One Foundation and to the firefighters and paramedics that saved my life.